everybody. Um, I kind of have to laugh for a minute because before I go live, before it says you're live, sometimes it shows me the picture that you guys are gonna see, and it's just a film reel this time. Usually it's my photos that I put on here, but anyway. Okay, so I want to cover this because I covered it from the beginning, so I want to cover every part. I don't want to feel like I'm not talking about something and kind of disregarding it. So here we go. Um, as I said, and I've heard about this from other lawyers, that when a corporation gets sued for a large amount, um, obviously they don't want to pay the large amount. So then they appeal the decision. Now, sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not. But there's always that process. Okay, so now we started the process because I said to myself before, um, even before any of this happened, I said, okay, what are the chances that they're actually going to pay this girl what they should pay her? And optimistically, I said, well, hopefully they pay her the whole amount and they don't shortchange her or anything like that. But then realistically, I said, okay, but do they really want to pay her all that money? No, because, well, for two reasons I can think of off the top of my head. Um, it's a lot of money. Now, another side of this is I have to kind of split my brain into what's logical and what's reasonable. Okay, logical is they should pay her every cent that she was awarded in the first case. Okay. Reasonable is if they did pay her that amount. I don't think they'd go bankrupt. What's but they might be close. Okay, because it's a large sum of money. Um, Now, like I said, she deserves it because if you know the story, then okay, I guess I should tell you a little bit about the story again, in case you didn't see any of my other videos. Okay, so this started when she was 10 years old, so a child. Okay, she has a illness, something called CRPS, which stands for Complex Regional Pain Syndrome, and they did a study and they asked people who suffered from the disease um, what it feels like. And they said the pain feels worse than childbirth. So, any of the females in my audience who've had children or who know what that experience is like through other people, imagine that. The pain is worse than that. Okay, and this is a 10-year-old child. Now, she was getting treatment for because there is no cure for this thing, but you can treat it so the symptoms aren't as bad. Well, through another doctor's advice, she was getting infusions, and now the hospital is saying that the mother, who also coincidentally, because of the back and forth with the hospital and everything, she unalived herself in order to hopefully make it better for her daughter. Okay, so not only did this child have to go through pain and everything else, she was separated from her family and then mistreated in the hospital severely. And then on top of that, her mother lost her life. Okay, imagine all that. Okay, so and the testimony that the several people from the hospital gave was complete baloney. I'm being polite here. But yeah. Um, a lot of people have referred to a certain the seventh floor like coven because of how they treated Maya and her family too. Because also they tried to keep her father away from her as well, and so it was just it's just complete absurdity. Okay, so the oral arguments, which were on, let's see, what was that? I think it was on 2/6 or 2/7. So last week, um, or the week before that, I forgot. I forgot for a second that Valentine's Day was Friday. Okay. So they just started this process, right? Okay. So the state has their side and the defense has their side, obviously. Okay, so what happens in these arguments is you basically have to plead your case in front of a completely new judge because, well, two reasons. One, obviously, so you hopefully don't get an unbiased judge, but then also because trial judges and appellate judges are just totally separate things. So it wasn't going to be the same judge anyway, which is sad because I love the first trial judge. That's a personal opinion, but he was great. Okay, so and this time it was a female, which it doesn't matter. I'm just saying. Okay, so of course, when they start, the judge and everything has a lot of questions, and they had so many questions that the state side over like they have a certain time limit to do everything. They went over the time limit trying to answer all the questions, and I still don't feel like they've adequately answered all the questions. Um, and then on the fifth side, he already the benefit of going second in this occasion is that you already know all the questions going to be answered, so you can kind of prepare your answers in a way. So not that he did, but he did address each judge or whoever and said, regarding your question, da, 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 and regarding your question, like that. And he just stood up there and was answering the questions and with no rebuttals or no extra questions. Whereas the other side had extra questions because she was like, well, could you define that or could you explain that more? And that just didn't happen on the defense side. So once again, logically, you would think that that means that Maya kind of won innocence, but I'm not really sure because you can never tell on these things. It's kind of like jury deliberations. You always think it's going to take a certain amount of time, and then you're always wrong. So hopefully we'll get an answer to that pretty quickly. I'm hoping. I mean, I'd say within a week or maybe two. I don't know. I also didn't know exactly when this was going to start the appeal process, so there was a lot of stuff I didn't know exactly. So I'm just rolling with it. Um, so yeah, hopefully, okay. Now, once again, logically, hopefully they don't cut it down at all. Um, but then reasonably, I think they might cut it a little bit. But I hope they don't cut it so much that it's now an insult for everything they went through. That's my hope. Um, okay. I hope I covered everything. Um, I didn't want to get into every question they asked because it was a over 2 hour thing. But the interesting part of this is that, like I said, the state took up a lot of time. And then so the defense was only left with like a little chunk of time, and he was able to answer everything and still have the question of, do you have any more questions? And I think somebody said, because somebody else covered this, a lot of people have covered this, but they said that he did it with 10 minutes to spare, so that's pretty good. All right. Bye, guys.